Hi, you're in the studio with Luke from GuitarIQ.com. Welcome to Guitar iQ&A, where you write in with your burning guitar questions and I do my best to answer them. So I've been getting a lot of questions about guitar pedals, specifically stomp boxes versus multi-effects, which is better, can I combine them, what gear do I recommend, and so on. Over the years, I've put together a number of pedal boards ranging from small and portable to massive, heavy, and super annoying for everyone else in the band that you're touring with. So before looking at any specific pedals or gear that I use personally, in this video, I wanted to cover a few key lessons that I've learned firsthand through trial and error. These things are often overlooked or ignored when someone's putting together a pedal board for the first time. But in my opinion, apart from the actual pedals that you choose, these things are the most important aspects that you need to get right for achieving the best tone with the least amount of noise and interference. So let's jump in and check them out. Tip number one, make sure you have good quality patch cables. Don't buy the cheapest thing you can find. Your guitar cables should not be an afterthought, okay? The logic is simple. Good quality cable with good quality shielding and good quality connectors will give you a good quality result. What does that actually mean? Well, apart from the fact that they'll last much longer, quality cables will give you a lower noise floor with a higher fidelity signal. In other words, they're less prone to outside noise and interference, you know, that buzzing and humming that guitar players just love. And you'll typically notice a clearer tone with less top-end loss. Now, the difference can be subtle depending on the cables that you're using. So I'm certainly not suggesting that you need to go out and buy the most expensive and premium cables that you can find. I just want you to keep in mind that low quality cables made from cheap materials will unquestionably degrade your signal. Tip number two, make sure you always have a good quality buffer at the start of your signal path. Now, I know what you're thinking, hang on Luke, aren't buffers bad? Shouldn't we always be using true bypass pedals? Well, yes and no. Buffers often get a bad rap, but in my opinion, this is because of two main problems. Either people use poor quality buffers that just sound bad, or they are stacking too many buffers in their signal chain. Just because a pedal is true bypass does not mean that it won't affect your tone. It just means that when the pedal is turned off, there's no buffer being applied to the signal. So what does a buffer do and why do I need one? Well, think of it like this. Every foot of cable, every connection, every foot switch and solder joint is a potential point of resistance. And just like water running through a really long hose that's all bent and kinked, the more resistance there is, the more impact it will have on what's being produced on the other side. So without going into a lengthy discussion, on the technical aspects of this whole thing, essentially, like using good quality cables, a good buffer will help to preserve the quality and fidelity of your tone. Admittedly, there are a few instances where using a buffer isn't recommended, like before vintage style fuzz pedals, for example. But these are the exception and not the rule. Typically, for the best results, a dedicated high quality buffer unit placed at the start of your pedal board, especially if that pedal board is predominantly made up of true bypass pedals, will almost always improve your tone. And finally, tip number three, make sure you have a good quality isolated power supply. Now, the key word in there was isolated. When you run multiple pedals off of a single adapter, especially if you're using a number of digital pedals, you open the door to a lot of extra hiss, noise, and interference. Don't daisy chain all of your pedals off one adapter. I know that's a popular thing to do, but at the very least, you want to make sure that your digital and analog pedals are powered by separate power supplies. Ideally, however, you really want every single pedal to be on its own isolated output. Now, fortunately, that doesn't mean that you need to go out and buy a separate adapter for each pedal that you own. Many of the better power bricks out there that are specifically designed for guitar pedals will do this for you. You just need to make sure that the power supply specifies that each output is isolated. And of course, always check that Each separate output will provide more than enough juice to power the pedal that you're wanting to plug into it. And very importantly, always ensure that the polarity symbols match up between the power supply and the ones specified on each pedal. That's extremely important. We don't want to kill any of our pedals. When in doubt, always check the manual to make sure all of the power requirements are being met, and you should be good to go. So they are my 3 key tips for building a better sounding pedal board with less noise. Again, use good quality cables, get a good quality buffer, and make sure everything is isolated. If you do those 3 things, you're going to avoid so many of the issues that people commonly come up against when using guitar pedals. Now, obviously, this was just a brief overview. So if you head over to the transcription of this video on our website, guitariq.com, I'll link to some more videos and articles where you can find out a lot more information and go a lot deeper into the things that we've talked about. Also, in the next video, I'm going to show you my new pedalboard build for 2018. I've drastically downsized from the massive pedalboard that I was using, and I'm really happy with the result, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, then please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. What cables do you use? How do you power your pedalboard? Do you use a buffer? Why not? I'm really keen to hear your thoughts. Also, if you want to get more from your guitar playing, I have a number of guitar books that are available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and a bunch of other places worldwide. So be sure to check them out. Just head over to the website, guitariq.com, to learn more. And last of all, if you have a question that you'd like answered, just leave it in the comments of this video or head over to the Q&A tab on our website, and you might just find your question featured in a video just like this one. All the best in the practice room this week, and I hope to chat soon. Cheers.